Welcome to Landria, Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through those fears and live an awesome life. Let's talk about how you raise your frequency. Gosh, it seems like, how do we get out of this matrix where, we seek happiness, we seek abundance and joy, we seek all these things so that we can feel better. We all want to feel better, right? We all want to be happy. That's really what it boils down to, and happiness feels better. But then things happen along the way, and I'm here to tell you that that will never go away. And when you accept the fact that this planet comes with challenges, that's the whole package, you can be okay with it. And when you go to a higher frequency, the challenges no longer affect you the same way. You don't see them the same way. Now, if you guys signed up for Landria's inspiration, free inspiration, I give you a discount on my e-course. What I do is we tear down all of the little things that, let's just say, create the foundation for you to believe that life shouldn't be a certain way. And then when things happen, there's a foundation there that dictates how you feel according to what you believe the world should be like when something doesn't happen or somebody did something. Now, one of my students wrote me, and I actually put this video on and took it off because I didn't like it. It just didn't feel right to me. I want to restate something. She asked me, what's the difference between judging and confrontation? They're completely different things. Judging is absolutely, finding a ranking. It could be even good or negative, towards something. That is the ego, having to name things. Now, the confrontation is also coming from ego. When you confront, you're feeling like the ego, it's all ego-based. The confrontation is you having to state that something is wrong and somebody needs to change something for you. And that's the ego wanting to control things. So I want to talk to you today about how do you raise the frequency so that you don't even go into a space where you don't need to judge. You have no desire. It's not even in your being, right? It's not even in your energy space to even want to do that or think to judge. And also, you don't want to confront anybody because you don't see anything as a problem. So my student had mentioned that, this is another person's teaching, that you need to be heard, and I don't believe that. I really don't. I come from a different kind of teaching, and that's not to say that that teacher is wrong. If that's where you are in your path and you still believe that you need to confront somebody and speak your mind and stand up for yourself, then that's where you are, and you should go through with that. Now, if you progress to a more awakened state, and I'm not trying to say this is good or bad, when you progress to a higher frequency, there is no threat anymore. So to confront isn't even in your thoughts, because you see that person who may be doing something irritating or unjust according to whatever rules that are made. You look at that and you say, bless them. There must be some conflict going on, or I don't resonate with that company or that person or that whatever. Same thing with relationships. I get so many things. How do I get this person back? Except that that person doesn't want to be with you. So when you go into an awakened higher frequency, you say, well, okay, I wasn't for them. We're not on that frequency. And the ego will fight and want to get it back. How do I get them back? I want to manifest them back. Total opposite of love and acceptance. Because when you go to a high frequency, you know that everything is okay. And that everything that happens does not harm you. It cannot affect you. No one does anything to you. You have to accept that. So, when somebody makes a comment or something, I say, you know what? I bless them. I bless them. And I think, I'll make my personal comment. We're all allowed our opinions. But, when somebody comes in from something negative, I just know that they're just in a negative space. That's all it is. So to take this thinking further into that and judging and whatever, this is what creates the conflict and struggle in our lives, is this deep thought that comes from the ego that has to analyze things, that has a judgment about whether it's right or wrong, whether it should be happening to you or not accepting anything that happens that is uncomfortable. That's the biggest one, because you view it as something wrong. You view it as something that shouldn't be happening. Well, we're going to talk about taking total control over that today. Because going to a higher frequency means that absolutely everything you focus on is a higher frequency. So when you're going into the negative thought, the 3-second manifesting, right? That is pulling off of that negative thought. Everything that you do, ask yourself if this is a positive contribution to the collective consciousness. Not you. You are the collective consciousness, but when we say me and my ego, we're looking to make ourselves happy, protect ourselves, me. Right? And everything we're striving for is for me to be happy, me to be abundant, me to get the things, me to even be awakened. Right? So when you think of everything you do, you think your actions, am I contributing positively right now to the collective consciousness? That's a much bigger picture, isn't it? Coffee break. Oh, that frothing machine is amazing. All right. So what does that do for you? How does that take you to a higher frequency? Well, people cannot see or hear what's going on in our head. If you were to voice everything you were thinking, you'd probably be absolutely just petrified, because you wouldn't want people to know what you're thinking, right? You would, if I was voicing my opinion in a room that was not negative and somebody walked in, I'd go, oh, here is that person again, and let's see if he does this, and I was having to say out loud, I would really start working very hard on what I was thinking and believing. But we're not doing that because we can keep those secret. Now we do share that as an energy. You do pick up on feelings and thoughts with people. You can tell if somebody likes you or not, right? They can fake it all they want. You can feel that energy. But it does go beyond that. Now, what I'm trying to do today is to show you that if you come from a state of not thinking about yourself and what you're going to get and what you can contribute to the collective, you will actually raise your frequency, the collective, and those things that you are worried about getting or not getting will start to show up. You're no longer focused on your problems and your worry. You're not in here. You're focused on out here. Now, I have a quantum expansion meditation. Sign up for my meditations. I keep pushing you guys out. Go into the Quantum Field Connect. My e-course takes you step by step into how to do that. Now, that doesn't mean all your problems are going to go away. It takes practice and reprogramming, and this is why we have to be on it all the time. Why do you want to raise your frequency? Well, this planet is in turmoil. And every time we worry about just ourselves, we are not putting the collective, the planet, first. We aren't. And so if what you desire for yourself includes something positive for the collective or others, yay, right? Go ahead. We should all strive for our goals, strive for things. But when we are so focused on our own needs and desires and none of it's contributing positive to the collective, you're actually staying in a lower frequency and you're blocking yourself. You're blocking yourself. And you know, you don't have to be Mother Teresa every moment. But what I want to share with you is if you do this one exercise, you may be astonished at what kind of results you'll start to see. But your intentions cannot be to get the stuff and I'll do this so that I'll get these things. Go in with your heart and say, okay, I did come here to raise the frequency of the planet. I did come here to change this selfish, ego-based, destructive structure that is in place. And that structure is not who we are. Who we are has not been opened up into, expanded into here. We've stayed into this ego-based, very dense energy. So when you come in and you say to yourself, okay, so I'm going to switch over, instead of worrying about me and what I'm focusing on, all this stuff, let me just just like I said, for one day, these are exercises you can do for one day. See what works for you, because I have different practices and one might really click for you. For one day, say, everything I do, think, and say, am I contributing positively to the collective? So what does this do? So I have you replace the word failure with expansion, because there's no such thing as failure. Anytime you do something and it doesn't turn out the way you wanted it to, or things seemingly go wrong, it is actually a step toward expansion. And that message to the universe is expansion. And so it gives you that. And what's in there? Beautiful things. Everything's in there, right? Triumphs, some failures, right? What we call failures is still all expansion. So you'll start to get amazing things because you're okay with going into that space that you're fearing is possibly failure, but you're doing it anyways. That's breakthrough fear. You do it anyways. You don't allow it to control you anymore. So then you're saying, I'm afraid of expansion. It sounds silly. So you switch how you're thinking, and all day long you go, well, I'm not afraid of expansion failure, right? I'm not afraid of expansion. I am going to go try that. I am going to go take that class. I am going to go ask that person out. And then be okay with the results. Oh, they rejected me. Expansion. I learned something new. That person isn't for me, but wow, I expanded. I went ahead and did something that I normally would be afraid of, and now I know what that answer is. You will never know the answer. So we're here to go into that expansive space, but we must do it in a positive way to raise the frequency. So ask yourself, is what I'm doing positive for the planet and the collective consciousness? Because every person is sharing that with me. We all share that one energy. Wow, am I doing positive things for the collective? Because sometimes we get so narrow-minded and focused about me, 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 and it cuts out other people, or you don't want something for somebody else because you want something for yourself. That's a lower frequency. So ask yourself every day, is what I'm doing, feeling, thinking, contributing positively to the collective? Because when you go into the collective, that affects the material world too. Because when people are doing positive things in the collective, they don't harm animals, they don't harm the planet, they don't argue with each other, they don't harm each other, they are not selfish, they're giving, and then there's so much giving that there's nothing but abundance. It really does work that way. So no, you don't have to go, well, how do I do this? I mean, I have to go into my job or whatever. Well, let's start with that. Are you doing a job that is destructive to the collective? If everybody took responsibility and stopped working for companies that were destroying the planet, they'd have to switch how they're doing things so that they could be profitable. But we fuel that. Okay, if you're eating fast food with chemicals, am I contributing positively to the collective? Because what I put in my body is affecting absolutely everybody because they share that energy. We share that with you. Even though you may say, no, that's my body. No, it's not. Your body is an energy field and it is a frequency. So that's why people get sick. You're lowering your frequency, and so it has no way to battle any negative other frequencies that come in. So two negatives, right? They're just fueling that illness. So try this. Tell me if maybe it resonates with you and that you start to feel really important, because you are. And you will automatically start to choose higher thoughts, because when you do it for the collective, it's so much more powerful than you doing it for yourself. Because if you think this is a positive thought for yourself, sometimes that's just the ego in action. Well, I'm thinking positive thoughts, but it's just for me to get money, or just for me to do whatever. And we all want that first. It's like, put the mask on first when the plane's in trouble. Because if you pass out, you can't help anybody else. But this is how you do it. You help yourself and you expand into a positive space, and it's helping everybody else. Those masks are coming down on them too at the same time. This is what we came here for. So ask yourself what you're focusing on. And if that is going to contribute positively, well, yes, if I'm wealthy, then I can help others. No. That's the ego wanting something first, and I guarantee you most people don't do that, right? I'm not saying that in a negative way. I believe that's changing. Those people who want to help others are doing it with or without having money or abundance. And when they do that, wonderful things come to them. And it's not always in money format. But there's no reason you can't have that too. You can have an amazing life. Things can flow to you that will blow your mind. But let's expand out into something more important. Let's create a planet of peace, of love and abundance for everyone. Wouldn't that be wonderful? There being no arguments, no debates. What are you watching? What are you focusing on? What are you programming yourself with? Oops, coffee break. It's morning. My throat's dry. It sounded like a little alien voice, didn't it? No, there wasn't anything weird going on there. I want us in 2019 to start to focus on what is our real mission here. Because none of the things you want for yourself are going to matter if we go to hell in a handbasket, right? We're already going to the fourth dimension, but there's so much more work to be done, and we have to continue it. And it's not just about you going into the fourth and fifth. It's about you raising the frequency so that others can tap into that. They're already tapped into it, can experience that higher frequency and start to make better decisions. They're going to see the light where there was none, at least in their reality. I hope this helps. Let us unite. Start doing your global meditations. When you go into that peaceful space, you actually affect the planet. It's true. Quantum physics. You're whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Blessings to you, my friend. Namaste.